I welcome you all to the second segment of lecture 40. So we are looking at some of the provisions that you will find in an international investment agreement that asserts the regulatory power of the host state to take measures for protecting the environment. So in short, we'll say that we are looking at environmental provisions in international investment agreement. So in the second segment, we will look at some of the provision that you find in international investment agreements under the category of general obligations relating to environmental protection found in the IAS. Like I told you in the last video, I have categorized the provision with regard to environment into general obligation. The provision, if it talks about general obligation on the part of contracting party, that is what we classified under this head. Then exceptions. Exception could be either general exception or particular exception. Then other provision. These are the three lectures that I have designed for this particular course. So in the second segment, we will look at the provision in international investment agreement that talks about environmental protection in terms of a general obligation levied on the contracting parties of that this thing. So as I have mentioned earlier also, the provision that lays on general obligation will have either the title of investment and environment, public health and environment, treatment of investment, protection of investment, promotion of investment. So it comes under different headings. But if you look at the substance of the provision, then we will say that it lays on general obligation on the part of the contracting parties to protect the environment. So I am going to discuss each heading. So since the provisions are of general in nature, there may be some overlap, so you will have to bear with me on that account. The reason why I am going to discuss the provision topic wise is so that you can also get an understanding what are the provisions that are covered under the heading. So when you read an investment treaty, then you can relate to this and then you can look for environmental provision in that treaty under different headings, right. So that is why, even though it is there may be some overlapping, I think we will go topic wise and then the heading wise that is used in the bilateral investment treaty and try and understand the provision that are covered in those headings. Firstly, we will look at investment and environment. How are the provisions, what is the provision, what are the provisions that are covered in investment and environment? We can see that from 2003 onwards, we do see treaties that has the heading investment and environment, and that contains certain environmental provision which lay down the general obligation. For instance, take a look at Japan-Vietnam BIT 2003 that provides that the contracting parties recognize that it is inappropriate to encourage investment by investors of the other contracting party by relaxing environmental measures. To this effect, each contracting party should not waive or otherwise derogate from such environmental measures as an encouragement for the establishment, acquisition or expansion in its area of investments by investors of the other contracting party. So in short, it talks about not relaxing or waiving the environmental standards. So this provision is something that we can find post the treaties that were signed after 2003, and this is also something you will find in the treaty with investment chapters as well. And the most elaborate provision in this regard can be seen in the BITs that is signed by BLU, that is Belgo-Luxembourg Economic Union. So they sort of have a very elaborate provision in this regard. So one example that I can quote here is, if you look at Article 5 of the BLU-Libya BIT 2004, Article 5 is titled as Environment, and in this provision it states that for the purpose of this agreement, the contracting parties shall strive to apply the following principles. And what are those principles? That recognizing the rise of each contracting party to establish its own levels of domestic environmental protection and environmental development policies and priorities, and also to adopt or modify environmental laws, and each contracting party shall strive to continue to improve those laws. Improve those laws in the sense, improve the environmental laws. Then this provision also states that the contracting parties recognize that it is inappropriate to encourage investment by relaxing domestic environmental laws. Accordingly, each contracting party should strive to ensure that it does not waive or derogate or offer to waive or offer to derogate from the laws in the context of encouraging the establishment, maintenance or expansion of an investment in its territories. So, this provision also states that it states that the contracting parties are reaffirming their commitments under the international environmental agreements which they have accepted, and that they shall strive to ensure that such commitments are fully recognized and implemented by the domestic laws. So, the provision also states that the contracting parties recognize that cooperation between them provides enhanced opportunities to improve environmental protection standards upon request by either contracting party. The other contracting party shall accept to hold expert consultations on any investment matters involving investors of the contracting parties and falling under the purpose of this article. So, the reason why I have referred to a blues BIT was that it contains a very elaborate provision, and as you can see, the Libya blue BIT also contains a heading environment itself. So, this is one of the most elaborate version of the provision which talks about that the contracting party shall not derogate or waive the environmental standards. We can also see that there are other treaties which contain a similar provision. For example, look at Morocco-Nigeria BIT, but I seriously doubt the utility of this provision, because if you look at Morocco-Nigeria BIT of 2016, this is a very recent BIT, it's a 2016 BIT, Article 13.1 states that the parties recognize that their environmental laws, policies and multilateral environmental agreements to which they are both parties play an important role in protecting the environment. I mean, I wonder what is the point of mentioning that in a BIT. I mean, everybody agrees that international environmental agreements do play a role in protecting the environment. Does it? It's not even, forget about creating a legal obligation or a legal commitment under the BIT. This provision does not even is an affirmation provision. It's not even aspirational provision. So, I seriously question the utility of such provision. So, generally if we look at the investment and environment provision, we do find certain things being mentioned in the BIT which lay down the general obligations on the part of the contracting parties with respect to environment. So, what are those provisions? Firstly, we will see that the provision will relate to the power of the host state to adopt, maintain or enforce environmental measure. So, that is something that will be mentioned in the BIT. And secondly, it may also mention that in case of relaxation of environmental standards or offer to relax environmental standards provided by a country, then the contracting parties should engage in consultation to avoid such encouragement. So, this is a little more compared to an aspirational language, because otherwise if you lay down that the contracting party shall not encourage investment by relaxing the domestic environmental norms, so then who is going to enforce it? Even if the host state offers to derogate or offers to waive off its environmental standards, then who is going to complain? So, host state is not going to complain, the investor is not going to complain. So, in that case, that merely acts as a lip service. So, the provision that I just read, this is from US Senegal BIT, and this is something that you will find in many other BITs as well. So, it goes one step further by stating that there shall be consultation between the parties. So, that is also something you will find under the heading investment and environment. Moving on to the next heading, public health and environment. So, here under public health and environment also, you will find certain provision which lays on general obligations on the contracting parties relating to environment. So, what is the content of the provision that you will find under this heading, public health and environment? So, here the provision would either state that there should not be any relaxation in the domestic environmental standards. That's one, you could have a provision like that. or the provision may state that the states may adopt, maintain or enforce any measure to ensure that investment activities are compatible with environmental standards. So these provisions which state that the host state can adopt or maintain measures, this is not something you will only find in the main text of the treaty. Sometimes this is also found in annexures or protocols to the BITs as well. Then the third thing that you will find in under this heading is where that the states can exercise legal measures in case of violation of environmental standards. So most of the treaties that talk about these obligations only under the heading public health and environment. To give you one example, we can look at Article 15 of Canada-Kuwait BIT, which was signed in 2011. So this is also relatively a newer treaty. And the heading of Article 15 is Health, Safety and Environmental Measures. If we look at the provision states that the parties recognize that it is inappropriate to encourage investment by relaxing domestic health, safety or environmental measures. So accordingly, a party should not waive or otherwise derogate from or offer to waive or otherwise derogate from such measures as an encouragement for the establishment, acquisition, expansion or retention in its territory of an investment of an investor. So if a party considers that the other party has offered such an encouragement, then it may request consultation with the other party and the two parties shall consult with the view to avoiding any such encouragement. So the last line of this provision is very similar to what we discussed in the context of US Senegal BIT as well. So this is something that you also find in BITs like Tanzania, Turkey BIT as well. So Article 4 of Tanzania, Turkey BIT also lays down a similar obligation only with regard to consultation. So as we have seen, the first provision merely affirmed that the party shall not derogate, and secondly we did see one step added to it, that was there will be consultation between the contracting parties to the treaty. Now there was one more step added to it, the third step was added to it, that we can see clearly in the context of Canada-Nigeria BIT. So Canada-Nigeria BIT, again Article 15 states that the parties consider that the other party has offered such an encouragement. I mean, if one of the contracting party feels that the other party has offered such an encouragement, then it may request consultation with the other parties and the two parties shall consult, or it may request the establishment of an arbitral panel pursuant to Section D. What is Section D? Section D talks about state-to-state dispute settlement procedures, right? So, in case if one of the party feels that the other party has offered an encouragement or has actually encouraged, then there will be a state-to-state arbitration with a view to avoid such an encouragement. So, this we can see is the third step that has been added to merely an aspirational provision. So it's this development has actually happened in the context of the treaty signing practice of Canada. Okay, so further if we see some other examples, if we look at Article 4 of Turkey-Bangladesh BIT of 2012, so here also we see that the title of Article 4 is Protection of Public Health and Environment. So in this Article 4, we see that each contracting party shall reserve the right to exercise all legal measures in case of loss, destruction or damages with regard to its public health or life or the environment by investments of the investors of other contracting parties. So the Turkey-Bangladesh BIT is about the right to take legal measures. So that is also something that you will find under this heading. And thirdly, one more example is if we look at Colombia-Japan BIT of 2011, Article 21, which is titled as Measures on Health, Safety, Environment and Labour, it says that each contracting party may adopt, maintain or enforce any measure that it considers appropriate to ensure that the investment activities in its area are undertaken in a manner not incompatible with its environmental law, provided that such measure is consistent with this agreement. So that is also a positive affirmation on the power of the host state. But a very interesting provision that you may find under the heading public health and environment is that sometimes it is also linked with internationally recognized standards of corporate social responsibility. To give you an example for such provisions, I will refer to Canada Mali BIT of 2014. If we look at Article 15.3 of this Canada Mali BIT, it states that each party should encourage enterprises operating within its territory to incorporate internationally recognized standards of corporate social responsibility in their practices, in their internal policies, and also, the principles that they adopt within the context of CSR should relate to issues like labor, environment, human rights, community relations, and anti-corruption. So what we see here is environmental protection provision is sometimes linked with the concept of CSR as well. Moving on to the third heading that lays down general obligations with regard to environmental provision, we see a heading that is titled as promotion of investment. One example for promotion of investment is Canada-Slovakia BIT of 2010. So here Article 2 is titled as promotion of investment. Under the heading of promotion of investment, what is the content? You look at the fourth paragraph of Article 2. Fourth paragraph of Article 2 states that the contracting parties recognize that it is inappropriate to encourage investment by relaxing domestic health, safety or environmental measures. Accordingly, a contracting party should not waive or otherwise derogate from or offer to derogate from such measures as an encouragement for investment in the territory. So, if a contracting party does something like that, then both the contracting parties shall consult with a view to avoid such encouragement. So, this is a provision that we have already discussed in the context of public health and environment. So, basically the content is same, but you may find it under the heading promotion of investment. So, this is given under the fourth paragraph under the heading promotion of investment. So, that is why you may find an environmental provision under any sort of an head also. Right. So, if we look at Macedonia and Morocco BIT of 2010 or Mauritius and Romania BIT of 2000, so they are also, they also contain a similar provision under the head promotion of investment only, not as a separate heading with regard to environment. So what is it that we generally find with regard to environmental provision under the head promotion of investment? Generally, these are the things that we find. One, there shall be no encouragement of investment by relaxing domestic environmental measures. And two, nothing can prevent the contracting parties from taking any action to protect public health and the environment, provided that such measures are not arbitrary and do not constitute unjustifiable discrimination. Then third, the contracting parties can establish their own level of domestic environmental protection and their own sustainable development policy and priority, and can adopt or modify their environmental laws and regulation and continue to improve their laws and regulation. And finally, we also find the provisions which state that certain substantive provisions like fair and equitable treatment, full protection and security, most favored nation treatment and umbrella clause will not apply to measures which are taken for reasons of protecting environment, provided they are not arbitrary or unjustified discrimination. So, this is also one of the interesting provision which says that substantive protections cannot be extended to an environmental measure. So, that also you will sometimes find under the heading promotion of investment. Finally, you will also find a provision which states that the measures that are taken by the contracting parties for environmental reason will not be considered as a less favorable treatment within the meaning of certain articles, wherever you find that provision. I mean, generally it is given under promotion of investment. So, there are other provisions in that article. So, within the meaning of that, within the scope of that article, an environmental measure will not be considered as a less favorable treatment. Generally, if you see, this is a provision you will find in the treaty signed by Morocco. For instance, if you look at Morocco-Serbia Treaty or Morocco-Rwanda Treaty, so here you will find that less favorable, it cannot be considered as a less favorable treatment in the context of that article itself. So these are the things that you will find under the heading promotion of investment. So the next heading that we are going to discuss is protection of investment. So sometimes you will find a heading in the BIT and otherwise other international investment agreement, which is called as protection of investment. So under the heading protection of investment also sometimes general obligations are levied with regard to environment on the contracting party. General obligations are levied on the contracting parties for the protection of environment. So what are the features that you find under this heading? So I could say that there are three things which feature under the heading of protection of investment. So first thing is, the contracting party shall not encourage investment by relaxing domestic environmental standards. Then it may also contain a provision which says that the contracting party should comply with international laws and regulations of the other contracting party concerning environmental policies. And thirdly, it may say that the investments shall be subject to additional performance requirements unless such requirements are deemed vital for environmental reasons. Right, so this is what you will find under the heading protection of investment. So the next heading that we look at is treatment of investment. So what is the thing that you find in treatment of investment? So in the treatment of investment also you will find environmental provisions that lay down general obligation. Firstly, there are two obligations that we frequently see under the heading treatment of investment. So we will find a provision which states that contracting parties can adopt, maintain or achieve any measure in order to ensure that the investments comply with its laws and regulations related to the environment. Sometimes the provision may also say that the contracting parties may provide for exceptions to national treatment through legislation, but any new exception will not be applicable on investment made before the entry into force of such an exception, except when such exception is necessitated for the purpose of protection of the environment and public health. This is something that you will find in Russia-Sweden BIT. So that's a very specific provision, but it was under the heading treatment of investment, and therefore this is categorized under this heading. I discussed it under this heading. So essentially, if we look at it, like I've discussed in the last video, the general obligation that is leveled on the contracting parties are they shall not waive or relax or derogate from environmental provisions or environmental standards that they have domestically set. Then they cannot make an offer to derogate, also offer to waive environmental, offer to give environmental relaxation. So all of these is covered, and then some explicitly it is recognized that the contracting parties have a right to take any measure, legal measure, to ensure that the investor complies with the environmental standards. So this is what is provided explicitly in an international investment agreement. So this, to some extent, it's a good thing that it is included explicitly. Some of you may question this. Most of it is written in an aspirational language and all of that. You may question it. And even when the Canada BIT talks about bringing a state-to-state dispute resolution, hardly you may find a home country, taking a measure in against its own national itself. So that is also something you may not find. But the significance of having an explicit provision with regard to environment cannot be overstated. The reason being, this provision will be helpful for making sure that the arbitral tribunal looks at the environmental concerns, and arbitral tribunal then cannot ignore the environmental concerns, will be forced to look at the environmental concerns surrounding the investment project as well. This is something we will discuss in the 10th week of the course, the next week of the course, in the context of principle of systemic interpretation. So I will pick up this, how the arbitral tribunal can and be forced to look at this provision. We will look at it in the context of applicable law and principle of systemic integration. So I would say that it is very significant for the contracting parties to include a provision regarding environmental protection in the BIT itself or in the International Investment Agreement itself. So, with that I will conclude lecture number 40. In the next lecture, we will look at some other provision that we find in International Investment Agreement that deals with environment, especially in the context of exceptions. It could be general exceptions or it could be particular exceptions that we will discuss tomorrow. Thank you.